Hey, welcome to the Pittsburgh City Paper podcast. My name is Alex Gordon. Thanks for listening. Today, we have local wrestlers Fleck and Feeney. Thanks for being here, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Yep, thank you very much.
All right, we're also joined by a couple of self-proclaimed wrestling nerds. I guess we'll get into what that actually entails. With Charlie Deach and Mike Wysocki. How you doing, guys?
Good. Thanks for having us.
All right. So just to get our listeners kind of familiar with your work, do you want to just tell me about Code Red and your performances there?
Sure. Fleck and I own a promotion called Code Red Wrestling. It is located at Century 3 Mall in West Mifflin, PA, and we run shows monthly. So Fleck and I have been wrestling for about 5 years, going on 6 years, so we're familiar with the wrestling scene, and we thought what better way to expand our love for the business than to start our own promotion. So
yeah. Is like the state of local wrestling, is it like healthy here at the level you guys do it? Do you guys have is there a lot of fans in Pittsburgh?
there is a pool of wrestling fans in Pittsburgh, and there is a lot of wrestling in Pittsburgh. So WWE has really helped with that and the other strong promotions out there because it brought light to independent wrestling and these smaller promotions. So for us, it's great because people are, still tuning in and still supporting local wrestling. But I don't know how large the pool is per se. So,
Okay. How did you get into it in the beginning?
would you like to answer this one?
Were you talking about wrestling as a fan or just to train to be
Well, let's
a
start
pro
as a
wrestler?
fan.
I mean, I remember watching, on TV with my dad since probably before I was like 4 years old, and I just was hooked. There was no way that I was turning that TV off. I can't imagine a world of not knowing what professional wrestling is. I wouldn't know what to do with myself. I mean, I love every aspect of it. The storylines, the athleticism, the production that goes into it, the pyro, that's why we promote, because we're fans, we're wrestlers, we just want to do everything we can do in the business, and we enjoy it.
So how do you take that step from becoming, because Mike and I are fans, but Mike and I aren't out there beating the crap out of anybody or getting the crap beat out of us, most importantly. So how do you take that step from fan to performer?
Training.
Sure, but what makes you decide that you want to take it?
On June 5th, 2006, you go to Mellon Arena to watch a show, and you meet somebody who loves the business as much as you, and 3 years later you decide, because you both at that time before you even met each other decide you wanted to train, and you take your best friend and you go train at a school.
So you guys met at a wrestling match?
We met at WWE.
At WWE?
Yes.
Wow.
I hate
Almost
I hated
10
this
years ago.
guy.
What was the move? Was the move a headlock or some sweet talk?
It was me playing with his spinner belt.
Yeah, she wanted my John Cena spinner belt.
You had a belt?
Yeah.
It's since been autographed and put away.
Charlie,
but
he was that guy.
He was that guy. I personally hate fans who have
Whoa, put that mask away.
yeah, I was that guy
Yeah.
before it was cool to be the person that wears the same clothes.
Yeah.
Like the tie-dye guy and Brock Lesnar guy
Yeah.
and sign guy. I was that, just being myself.
Spinner belt guy.
So, but in all seriousness, though, I think that, growing up saying, I love wrestling. I want to be a wrestler. I want to be able to, inspire others to chase their dreams just as I'm chasing mine. It's something deep inside you. It's a passion that you don't just grow out of. And that is why we started training, because we knew that we wanted to go to that next level.
Yeah, and I've been several times out to their matches, and one thing I can say for sure is that Feeney is very good.
I mean, I hear that a lot, but
That's all I can say.
I mean, obviously, she has me to train with.
Oh, is that it? So their shows are in the Century 3 Mall in West Mifflin. And it's sort of like you get there, and so you walk into the food court or whatever, and if you walk in during the matches, you can just hear shit slamming and people just screaming and
You do,
yelling.
it echoes.
And it's so what was it about the mall that what made you guys decide? So you bought a ring and you decided, I'm gonna start a promotion. Let's put it in a fucking mall. I mean, how'd that happen?
are we allowed to say that?
Yeah, you said it.
Whoa, wait. I'm trying to censor myself, and you can swear?
This isn't the Monroeville or the Century 3 Mall. You can curse all you like.
Holy.
Let's start. Take it from the top.
I was saying how many we could get by.
Let's redo this. I mean,
Yeah.
I was like, do they know?
I wondered all the way through.
No.
I am not that respectful with my voice.
I actually meant to say that at the top, but I forgot.
I was
Yeah.
biting my tongue.
I will
So
answer
it
your
is.
question, no problem. So we get this ring and we're like, yeah, we're gonna train. And of course, when we, purchased the ring, we got, a bunch of chairs, steel chairs, and there's only so much you can do with steel chairs. So when you have 300 or 150, sorry, of them, you're like, what can I do with these? So, anyways, long story short,
So all these
We're looking-
fuckers that we went to go
Here he
check
goes.
out to see if
Yeah.
they'd let us rent out their space, they're
Yeah.
like, cool, yeah, we'll rent it. Here's the price. Okay, but what are you gonna do then? We're gonna run wrestling shows. They think you're gonna burn down their building or
Wow.
something.
yeah, they
But
weren't.
they don't
fans.
understand
They-
whatsoever.
Charlie,
Yeah.
they didn't understand it was a work. You know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah.
Right. So, anyways, so then I'm talking to this guy, and he's like, "Hey, Century 3 has like a boxing gym in there," and I'm like, "Huh." Well, I kind of thought about Century 3, but like, mall, I'm not sure. And he's like, well, just call them up and see. They're always looking for new clients. And I'm like, okay. So I called them up and we go check it out. And they were so welcoming. And I just thought, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Because although it's unfortunate that there is so much wrestling in the area, we never wanted to disrespect anyone or step on any toes. The fact that we can be inside a mall, not have to worry about people having a hard time getting, it's right off
Yeah.
51 South, and the fact that the mall is so awesome of helping us support and promote our shows. So, I mean, we've done like trick or treats and stuff. They're like, they put a table out for us. They tell us, go hand out your flyers, whatever. So they've been really supportive of us, and I hope that, we're supporting them by, telling people, like, yes, the mall is still around. I mean,
Yeah.
some people will
There's
probably know
there's
that.
a lot of good owners of stores in the mall. And we've only been there since August. But Mark at First and Goal, Tyler at Air to Fly, Stretches. Frank owns Italian Village Pizza, but Stretch is the manager there. Like the guys are legit our friends through just being, common dominator being. We are at the mall, but there's a lot of caring people still there.
Yeah.
And I think that once they do the remodel, that area is going to change for the better.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been to plenty of shows where it's like, you put in the address and you don't know what to expect, and you literally go down a dirt road for like an hour and a half, and then it's a barn.
Turn
And
left
you're
at
like-
Jimmy's Chicken Shack.
Yeah, and you're like, okay, fans know how to get here, right? And then not to mention like the weather, and you're like, oh, jeez. So I think that we're in a really good location, and I think that it hopefully brings awareness to the other businesses in the mall.
And that's what we
so.
try to do. We've got the places I mentioned that we give our business to. Tyler airbrushed our set sign as well as our ring apron. Mark has lotteries, so I'm just not going to comment there. I also purchased some wrestling cards, and we serve Italian Village Pizza at all our shows.
Absolutely.
Sporting. Okay.
And then the other thing is it's free publicity. Like we don't have to. I mean, we still advertise and
Yeah.
stuff, but we have like the patron. Like whoever goes in the mall can see that
Yeah.
there's a wrestling
hear us.
promotion.
Right.
You run in a VFW. The only people that they're members of it know that
Right.
you're going
What's
to be
going on?
there.
Yeah,
I think that's one good thing about our location is that it's the same location every month.
Yeah.
A lot of promotions have to run at other, different locations, so it's like the fans are like, okay, are they going to be here this month or away this month? And I've worked those shows, I know that happens. So being able to be at the same location every month in and month out, it's a good business idea.
yeah. Where do you train? Like how do you
There.
find a place? I mean, you do now, but when you're first starting
Sure.
out, how do you find a place to train, or where do you decide?
There's several companies in the
Yeah.
area. We train with Iron City Wrestling Academy. Free plug, that is IWC's school.
Very
We
good
train
school.
by Super Hentai and Marshall Gambino.
Yeah,
And you guys also, right? You guys have a training program at
we
your place
do.
too?
We
Yes,
do.
we do.
hmm
We currently have 3 guys training right now.
Yeah.
That's great.
So, but in wrestling, it's all about networking, just as it is in any field. So, with that being said, you get on the road, you meet people. So, I could go to a different town right now and find a place to train just because you have that network. I mean, when we were down in Florida, I was talking to my friends that have bookings down there, and they were telling me about some places down there that they train at when they're in town. So, if you have the network, I mean, you can find places to work out.
The hardest thing for any wrestlers is having a match maybe once a month and not being able to go train somewhere. Regardless if we had a wrestling promotion ourselves, we have a ring, so we would have it set up somewhere so that we can train, because it's like anything, you get rusty, you don't practice, you don't get better.
There's a lot involved. It's not just get in there and learn the moves. I mean, you have to. It's really challenging. You have to learn how to balance so much. You have to learn how to interact with the fans. You have to learn how to put psychology into a match, or else the match means nothing. So definitely a lot involved. So just getting in the ring and working out, or getting in the gym and working out, it's really important to study film too, to study old stuff, new stuff. That was one thing they told us when we were training. So you never stop learning.
Could you walk us through a day that you have a fight? What is your process of preparing for that? Do you,
It's a
do
match,
certain-
Alex.
A match.
It's a
I'm
match.
sorry.
I'm
admitted
sorry.
novice.
I'm sorry.
So we'll base this off of just a normal day, not at Code Red.
Well, we'll start with the drive first off,
Oh,
if depending.
the miles. That's the hardest thing, is being in the car. So thank God for social media, because you can get out there and interact with your fans and promote when you're stuck in a car for 9 hours. But basically, you wake up and you have your bags already packed at the door, you load the car up, and you get on the road. Then again, you have several hours in the car and just trying to kill time. Most of the time I sleep. You can tell from Facebook, because there's a lot of pictures.
Yeah, I don't know who
of me
posts
sleeping.
those pictures.
And then you show up at the venue. We're always early. Knock on wood. I mean, we usually don't have any issues. And then you get there. You shake everyone's hand. That's the first and foremost thing you do. You learn in wrestling, when you get to a building, you shake everyone's hand, introduce yourself. You don't know who they are, who they know. So then you find your opponent, and then you talk about what the night holds, and then you interact with the fans, maybe at intermission or after the show, and then you load up the car and you get back on the road.
And then you hope that other states are like Pittsburgh and we go to Sheetz on every street corner. Well, let me tell you guys, there's not a Sheetz in every state. So trying to find food at 11 o'clock at night is not always the best.
I think
thing.
Maryland's the worst. We have been punked so many times in Maryland. There'll be a food sign. It'd be like, take this exit, food,
Yeah.
Subway on the right. We get off, and it's
Like in a housing
residential.
plan. It's like housing plan, office building with restaurants, housing plan.
Somebody selling hot dogs on the back of their house.
Yes.
Dude, I wish. I mean, at least we'd be eating right
You
then
should
and
contact
there.
Sheetz. If Sheetz is like your training table, you could probably get an endorsement deal with Sheetz. That'd be pretty good.
That would be cool.
Sheetz or Geico.
Get go.
There's There's Wawas, but I mean,
So then you start finding the trucker stops. And then
yeah, if you're
like,
lucky to find a pilot that has a good fast food place, some
Yeah.
have like a Taco Bell or a Subway or KFC, but those are like a dime a dozen too, trying to find those.
So what's the farthest you guys travel to perform?
distance-wise, right now, South Carolina, 9 hours. Over 9 hours.
We've traveled to Tennessee and Georgia.
Canada last weekend.
And that's for
2
one
weekends
show?
ago.
Just for one show?
Just one show.
Wow.
So, you really gotta be serious and love this in order to, make that work on the road. So,
Let's just say we bought a Jeep in July, and it's not a year yet, and we have almost 20,000 miles
Wow.
on it.
Man, it's almost around the world.
I would love to go around
Yeah.
the world.
Honestly,
Canada was a big thing for me. When I started, I was like, I want to wrestle in Canada. And finally, like 2 Saturdays ago, I was in Canada, and it was awesome. It was
Yeah.
an awesome experience. The fans were like so into it. I mean, it reminds me of how the fans are down south, because they pop over a headlock. You
Yeah.
know, the last match, whose son was it? Harry's, right? Harry's son.
No, it was Smith Hart.
Smith Hart's son was in a match, and he was heel. Go figure, Canada. And he won the match, and the fans were throwing their trash in the ring. I'm like, hey, we gotta go before these fans riot, because we're heel, and I'm like, they're gonna find the next
She's like,
person
yeah,
they
so
don't
it's
like.
like, Fleck, they're throwing stuff. It's time to go. I was like, oh, okay.
That's how my dad used to describe it, was like in the 60s and 70s, like, if Bruno Sammartino would lose, like,
Yeah, I've
they were
heard
tipping over
stories of
taxi
that.
cabs and stuff like
Kind
that.
of like when, the whole NWO thing, when Hogan
Yeah,
came out,
yeah.
what they did in the ring, but it was like far more.
Right.
I
Worse than
remember
that.
I said to, I was telling the fans, this country sucks, blah, blah, blah. I said to the one guy, I looked him in the eye, and I said, why do you live here? And he goes, how's healthcare treating you? I was done.
Oh,
I
and
was
come back
done.
for that, filthy American.
The entire match, I was like, I gotta think of something. So then at the end of the match, I'm like, yeah, well, hey, buddy, Tim Horton sucks. He goes, Dunkin' Donuts sucks. I'm like, dude.
He was good.
Yeah, he was.
He was ready for you.
I was like, this guy had to have been a worker.
We're gonna build a wall to keep you Canadians out.
Yeah.
It's actually literally what one of our managers said.
So how do you guys, like, I know at your show, you guys have a lot of wrestlers from the South, from Canada and stuff like that. So is there, like, how do you guys find each other, I guess, to
That network.
A lot of people we've met through all these shows.
Yeah.
We tend to book people that have they've always been respectful for us. You know, there's people that you just meet in the back and you shake their hand every time you say that's it. And then there's people that you can have like 10, 15, 20-minute conversation with. That's the people that we want in our locker room. We don't play politics. We don't want, any arguments. We want our friends. Granted, now we're not just booking, every one of our friends.
Right.
We're booking talented wrestlers, but we want our friends, the people we care about, to be there because we know they care about the product, and that's less stuff we have to worry about. And half of our roster is local guys, but the other half is always out of town workers, and it will always be that way because we need to provide Code Red with its own identity.
Yeah, like he said, we meet all these people at shows, like the Great Cheyenne. You're familiar with Charlie. Met her at a show in Michigan. So I met her and then just stayed in contact, and I've worked in Illinois, I've worked in Indiana with her, and she's worked in PA and will work other places with me. So, and then, you just meet people, stay in contact with them, and just, help each other out and network.
Is it having the local performers, I guess, so I guess the local performers is how you keep sort of familiar faces at the matches you bring in the best talent, but you have a kind of because I would think, like, for example, I know Cheyenne hasn't been around a couple of months, so you guys worked a program and then she sort of moved on. So do you need sort of some local faces to sort of, so the fans, you guys, for example.
I'm really over. Everyone loves Serafini, but I think, no, but seriously, a lot of my friends even tend to work a lot of promotions in one area, and therefore, as a business viewpoint, you can't, those people may not attract people or sell tickets because they're working down the street next weekend or something like that.
Yeah.
So with that being said, sure, it's important to have local wrestlers that may put, butts in seats, but at the same time, you want to have your own flavor and fresh faces.
To bring up Zeus and Cheyenne, that's her friend that travels with her. He's Malachi.
Yeah.
Great Malachi.
He's an awesome wrestler.
First Code Red champion.
Exactly.
And women's champion.
Exactly.
Both?
Both of
Yeah.
our first champions. They will be back. There is no reason that they left in the first place other than, like us, they have about an 8-hour haul.
Yeah.
And with their personal schedule and stuff, that's difficult because that's like your whole day traveling to and back. So it takes a toll. I think they were at 5 of our shows. So imagine she's booked in South Carolina. Imagine us doing that drive every month. It's exhausting, and that's really where it came down to that. We give them a break. I know I have them booked in November. I don't know if they'll come back sooner, but
From Paul Slam. So, like, another funny thing is about, like, a day in the life of a wrestler is we do these 9-hour drives and we get in at 5 o'clock in the morning, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, and we have training.
Ago, we got in from
at 9.
Canada, and we were at our house at 7 o'clock. We pretty much showered, slept on the couch for like 15 minutes, and then we're there training. Because that's
us.
We do.
And that's all because of it's what you guys love to do. It's I'm sure
It's
you're getting paid, but I'm sure you're not making at this level tons and tons of money. So it's about more than money.
Let's just say I'm going for my MBA and I have a full-time job, so you gotta love this business.
And I also have my own personal business too. So but it's in the blood. Like we were exhausted training, but we were there. It's like you're there. You're in the zone. You're in the zone.
Yeah.
Now, if I was at home, I would have just went to sleep.
Yeah.
But when you're there, it's in the blood. I don't know. It's in the blood, right?
It's in the blood.
It is in the blood.
Got FNF tattoos here.
Look at that.
Alright.
You should see what's on our butt.
My.
Say.
All right, shifting focus for just a minute. These self-proclaimed wrestling nerds. Let's get to them. Let's get to the nerds. Mike, do you want to tell us about how you got into wrestling, how old you were, what it was that got you?
I was just kind of a nerdy kid. I never envisioned myself as a professional wrestler, but maybe like a manager that would come and just plunk someone in the head, during the match to help out their person. I got so far as to I had made up my own rankings of professional wrestlers and would move them up and down accordingly. as they won matches and stuff.
Wow.
But I wanted to ask you guys, this is the thing that's most annoying about when people about professional wrestling, they always say, it's not real, is it? It's the same thing. It's like, is smoking bad for me too? Should I not try this unmarked pill that I found on the bus? Do you find
Please
that very
do
annoying?
not use the F word.
No.
It's very real. I'd like to bring up one of our trainees for a second. And this kid never missed a practice in his life. Nick B-double-Z, Charlie's familiar. And he was one of the hardest workers I've ever met. And he had an awesome first match, I think.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Was there. And much better than my first match. But it was an injury, and that his doctor said he may never wrestle again. So this is very real. I mean, you can't prepare yourself for what is going to be thrown at you. So, we had actually the photographer that came down to take pictures, take a bump in the ring.
Our intern last fall.
He was questioning. He thought maybe it was a pillow top mattress, and we were
He
like, all right.
He didn't want to take another one.
Get in there, and he was like, "That'll be the last bump I ever take."
Yeah, he limped all the way out of the place.
Just like
I hit him up on Twitter after that, Charlie, but he just didn't. I think that
I
was
haven't
it.
heard from him much since then either. So
Yeah, I
I'm
think he hates
assuming you
wrestling.
guys saw Payback. That whole thing
Yes.
with what happened to Enzo. That's no work
I was going to bring that up.
whatsoever.
Yeah.
Right.
That stuff happens, and
Yeah.
there's no way to avoid what happened with him. That just happens occasionally. There's
Yeah.
no way to protect or avoid that.
I was gonna say though, you were talking about rankings and stuff. There's like the fantasy football thing's like huge right now. If you would have came up with the idea of like fantasy
Fantasy
wrestling,
Oh, I know.
Dude, we should still have fantasy
fantasy
wrestling.
We
league.
still
That'd
can
be
do
awesome.
that.
People would do
I
that.
think that's awesome. You made up rankings. I remember playing Monday Night Raw for Sega, and this is back just regular. Like there was no story mode.
Right.
I had a notebook and I made up all my matches and wrote that down. So that's pretty cool.
What about
You
like
rank all the
persona?
wrestlers.
That's always a big part of it. You have to create your own character. You have to project that to the fans. Do you have any inspiration for that, or you just kind of find it on your own?
basically I just get really angry,
Yeah. That's it.
and then I tell everyone I hate them and that they suck, except for Charlie.
Yes.
I will
It's a
censor
good way to rile
myself.
people up.
I will censor myself, and my character is a you know what, but
I actually have friends. One friend, I'd like to Jessie Bell. She is like over the top with being a heel. She actually gets chased out of like parking lots in her car.
Wow.
Yeah, it's I don't know, maybe a southern thing. She's Tracy Smothers' daughter, and she just takes it to another level with it. I don't even know how she like puts the on and off button, like on the
there's
character.
like people in character
Yeah.
24/7.
So how did you guys? I mean, why did you decide to like be a heel, be a bad guy over? I mean,
we're honestly we are whatever the promoter needs.
yeah.
So if she's, we do the gimmick F&F. So if she's face one night for a promotion, I'm usually face. If she's heel, I'm
Okay.
heel. So it just depends. Like honestly, 30 minutes down the road, we're face. At our
Right.
company, we're heel.
That's funny.
What's more fun?
Heel.
Definitely
Well,
heel.
I would like to say you make more money as babyface, but
Uh-huh.
I can get around that. If I work after intermission, then I'm just like, hey, and then after intermission, I'm like, thanks for buying my stuff, but you suck.
People find it hard to boo Feeney, but they have no problem yelling all kinds of shit at Feeney.
They
It's,
hate him.
Yeah, he's not. But that means you are technically popular, I guess, in that they hate you a lot.
If
That's kind
they
of
hate
popular.
you, you're doing something right. And as the new shirt says, love to hate us.
Are you saying I don't do being heel right? I'm not a good heel?
Honey.
I guess he's saying that it's really hard to hate.
I mean, when you got blonde hair and you got this pretty face, I mean, you can only hate it so much.
It is hard because so I have been to many of their shows, I think except for one, and I take my niece and nephew, and it's something that we can do. It's something again like you guys. My dad and I used to watch wrestling. And my niece loves Feeney. My nephew hates you so much.
Until I come up
Yeah.
to him and put my hand out, and he's more than willing to shake my
Yeah.
hand.
Well, he made a sign a couple of months ago that said "Go Fleck." Waited for Fleck to come over, and then he ripped the sign in front of him. So.
He also made a sign that says, Feeney's a weenie.
Feeney is a weenie. He
Yeah.
made that
Wow.
sign.
That's
Yeah,
how
Did you write that, Charlie?
No, that was on. He came to the. I picked him up. He had that sign. He couldn't wait to show us.
So are you secretly behind the jobber chant? Tell the truth.
I started on occasion. I want to tell you, do a good job. A jobber, for those that don't know, is a wrestler who just goes out and sort of helps put a guy over, or just kind of loses all the time. And
A guy that sucks.
a guy that sucks. Some of the fans in attendance tend to think that Fleck is more of a jobber than, say, someone who's talented.
I'll just say that my current loss record there is a little higher than my win record, but I don't lose every match.
You know what? I don't think I've seen you win actually, except when
You weren't
win
at
with
the
Beanie.
you weren't at the show with Rum when I wrestled Rumham.
No, that's the only one I missed.
There's a
Yeah.
And then I
right?
debuted my
Yeah.
new finisher.
So you can't win when I'm there.
Beanie wins, and
See?
then when he's with
You're
Beanie,
right.
she
That's
wins.
correct.
Yeah, because you saw the Survivor style match that we
Yes, that's true. But you didn't have much to do with that.
won. Well, I mean, me and Aaron Draven were the sole survivors. So,
Yeah, he's really good.
He is really
He's
good.
tough.
He's coming back too in July.
Awesome. So you guys talk about a little bit about the dynamics of tag team wrestling, because I think throughout history there always seems to be like one more dominant partner and another who sort of rides the coattails of their partner who's not really good, doesn't have a lot of moves. Their partner though is
What are you
charismatic.
saying?
I'm just pointing something out, but so that's how I always have found the dynamics of tag teams.
He's basically saying that I'm Diesel, you're Shawn Michaels.
Oh, I'm obviously Shawn Michaels.
Somebody did start chanting a couple of weeks ago that yelling that you were riding on her coattails. I don't want to mention any names who was yelling that. But.
Yeah, I've heard that before, but people don't know the backstory. I mean,
The
Well-
funny thing is, he's like 6'1". How much? Like 240. I don't really know how much he weighs, but he's like bigger than most of the
Fluctuates.
guys
Yeah.
40,
in the locker room. You know.
Right, you think he would win more often. That's what I'm saying.
Got some
why don't you just point out that there's usually nobody bigger? Like I can't book somebody bigger than me in my locker room.
You should wrestle that. You should have a match with that dude. What's the team you did the 6-man tag match? You guys
PB
had?
Smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, my ride squad.
Yeah.
Well, he's heel, so we can't
Yeah.
do that. 'cause
No,
I'm-
the other guy. The guy's was it Motley 2 or
Oh,
that the
Yams.
big dude with
Yams.
him?
Yeah.
He's a big dude.
He's a
That'd be
big
good
dude. Yeah. I
Would
think
you
we
be-
should. I
would you
think
be a
you and
jobber
him.
for
I
Yams?
think you and him should be.
I'll mix it up with Yams.
What'd you think of Russell?
Russell,
Russell
yeah.
the Love Machine? Did that not surprise
No,
you?
it wasn't the Love Machine. So I'm sitting there with my niece and nephew, and a guy comes out, and his name is Russell the Love Muscle, and my nephew's like,
That's right.
"What's a love
No,
muscle?"
wait. Is it the? It's the Love
It's
Machine.
It's the Love
Love
Muscle.
Muscle.
I have a
It's
picture
the
of his
Love Muscle.
trunks.
Yes.
Yeah, see, you gotta book this.
I'm sorry, Russell.
Russell the Love Muscle.
So go ahead. He was in a referee.
Yeah, he was in. Yeah, he was dressed as a referee, and he quickly took that off. And he was good
What is
entertainment.
love?
It was-
yeah,
it was
yeah.
good taste.
Yeah, it was. No, it was. Yeah, their shows are very family friendly. It's it's fairly PG rated and.
Until
Yes,
our
So-
next show where we have a street fight
So
Yes.
and a ladder
wait,
match.
we gotta put over Russell for a second.
Yeah.
So the music hits,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden, what happens?
He when he had the referee costume on,
Yeah.
he ripped it off and he's standing there in these pink tights with like a saggy ass, and it says Russell the Love Muscle,
Oh,
and he just
no.
starts gyrating, and the guy obviously didn't want to fight him. It was like kind of a cool gimmick, and Russell lost surprisingly, So, but he's coming back, right? Russell the Love Muscle.
Oh, yeah. He's wrestling Yams
Yeah.
and Cody Reigns,
Yep.
which is a new guy from
We'll
Texas.
introduce.
All right, so as the resident novice in this room, you guys have mentioned heels and jobbers. Can you give me some more lingo, some more jargon that I might not know?
Oh, gimmick. Gimmick is a big one.
Okay.
Gimmick could be used
Do we
on
have to explain these?
so many
or-
different-
Explain them for
No.
Alex and for the
so
readers.
many different levels.
All right, so
Yeah, if you want to.
gimmick is really more so like this hat is a gimmick. It's an F&F hat, right? But like for me, a gimmick is everything and anything. I'll be like telling him like, hand me the gimmick, or why did you talk about the gimmick? And I just use gimmick way too much.
Or calling a certain move gimmick, doing the gimmick, or
Gimmick would also be like F&F, like your persona.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got Iggy. That's
well, that's kind of secret.
Oh right.
Yeah. Kayfabe this stuff. Although
are we
Facebook totally
putting
destroys
over?
it.
What other words? A lot of times, like it's funny. Someone once said this, and I'll never forget it. When you're in a locker room, you hear a lot of boom, bang, boom, because people don't actually call like their moves. Will be like,
Isn't it Bing Bang Boom?
no, that's
Oh, you're
the
just saying the
international,
noise.
yeah.
Okay.
So it is. It's like a whole nother language. You just get back in. So anyway, if dude's talking about his match, he'll be like, "I was doing the boom, bang, boom," and they're like, "The what? The gimmick and what?"
The funniest thing is though, if you call a move by its like name,
Mm.
Mhm.
a lot of the people
What?
Don't
What's
like
that?
what?
Yeah.
And then if you say what wrestler's finisher
Yeah.
it is, they're like, oh yeah, I know
Yeah.
exactly what that is. And that's like down that like that's everybody in the locker room does that.
That is one thing that really amazes me is that it is such a universal language. You know what I mean? I can get in there with people so far all over North America and Canada, and we know the same thing. We may call it something different. We may call a move something different, but
Honey, Canada is still North America.
I meant
They're just not America.
Oh, call me out, Charlie. I
You
just
should
meant
not.
America.
You should
I just
demonstrate a stiff chop on Fleck.
Oh.
Let's do a stiff chop.
Oh. I
Come
would.
on.
Oh.
Let's go.
Chop the
Wait.
mic.
Yes.
Wait.
Do- And imagine that in a ring, like
Without a
it's
shirt.
Sweet, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
You're
that
gonna,
makes
you're gonna
the
see a
face
lot
pop.
of chops
That's
at
nice.
the 4G.
Wait
Yeah.
until
Casey Carlisle.
Casey Carlisle and her.
Do you guys
Have
have
you-
signature finishing moves?
Super kick.
Super kick,
Yeah.
nice.
Now super kick
Nice.
Mike.
There's not enough room.
He didn't
in-
sign a waiver.
in there. I'm surprised we can fit Feeney's ego in this one.
Whoa.
What's your finisher?
I do the spine buster, and also I just started doing the Doctor's Death Bomb, which is a sit-down gut wrench power bomb.
Nice.
I know what that is. Alex?
I like spine
You wanna
buster
explain that,
too.
man?
You know what you're getting with a spine
Yeah, spine buster's gonna bust the
I
spine.
got that.
Work and shoot are two other words too that
Yeah.
go around. Work is part of the gimmick, as it were, and shoot is sort of well, not sort of. Shoot is
Real life.
Real life, you know. It's like
Okay.
last month when they had to come out and talk about the fact that Nick wasn't going to be able to wrestle anymore, and I still, until actually you guys showed up right here, I still wasn't convinced that you weren't pulling to work. But it was just a front line, just explaining kind of what happened, and so that's a work, or that's a shoot, and then a work is, you know, me
Not
calling
using
Fleck
the
a
F word.
jobber.
Mm.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a word.
Yeah.
But that's about Mace Hagan.
Yeah.
Sure.
You want me to ask? You want me
Yeah,
to?
sure.
All right. So you guys have coming up. You have your next card is May 14th, and it's May Steak. You want to tell us a little bit about that? You got some big matches planned. I know
We
that.
do.
We invented a new word
What's that new
with
word?
Maystaken.
Mistaken. Yeah.
That's not
So what
even
is
a
it?
word.
Is that from forsaken or mistaken? Where
Yeah,
does
it's
it
more
come
like
from?
mistaken, but don't be
So-
mistaken.
So make no
Of course.
mistakes.
Exactly.
Of course, the main event of the evening will be when Serafini takes on Casey Carlisle.
I believe though
We
the
always
actual
steal the show.
promoted main event is the ladder match for the tag team
For
titles.
the women's match. And then we have a ladder match, that's correct. We have a tag team ladder match. We have a weird situation with that right now. We have two tag teams and one team has a belt each.
Yeah.
So hopefully that gets settled at this next show, or else I don't know what McGowan's going to do, Commissioner McGowan. And then we have a street fight.
Yeah, I'm in a street fight with some bum named Hayden Farrah.
When's the last time you beat him? I'm trying to think.
I actually haven't wrestled him. I never actually
He's
wrestled
not
him in a
actually
singles
funny story.
match.
Yeah.
We won't say the promotion's name, but the last time he beat Hayden Farrah, I was his tag partner.
Wow.
This is
See, there is a
true.
trend, folks.
It's true.
That's true.
I super kicked Hayden Farrah.
Nice.
But I mean, me and Michael Blade beat him last show.
Yeah, that was
So
Blade.
well, Blade won. But,
Yeah,
you know,
Fleck-
I allowed Blade to win.
Yeah, Fleck allowed Blade to keep his title by,
Air
know.
quotes.
But they did, Blade was very popular. Blade goes over at your matches, and for him to, at your shows, for him to sort of turn heel, he turned heel at the last show. For him to turn heel was sort of a big thing. I'm surprised at that.
Michael Blade is our buddy, and he loves to talk. And I was like, I
Yeah.
don't know about this. But when he cut that promo
Yeah.
afterwards as a heel, I was like, done. I was like, you are a natural heel. Like, why didn't I see this coming? Because I was hesitant. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm probably going to have to grab the mic and, put this over. But he did a fine job.
Michael Blade is definitely one of those ones that has always reached out to us in the locker room.
Yeah.
So when we decided that we were going to start our promotion, he was one of the first 5 wrestlers that we called
Yeah.
to come work with us.
We also have another tag match. We have the Cutlery, which
Those
is
bombs.
Gino Slice. That guy. He was on the
Yeah.
Pittsburgh City Paper. You know that
Yeah.
one that I was super
I do
kicking?
know, yeah.
Right.
Feeney was on the cover of City Paper last November.
Yep.
super kicking blade.
I was in the
Slice
I was in the
face.
back page,
We tried it,
Nobody
yeah.
else in the back page.
which is attached to the front page.
I
Just
appreciate
saying.
that, Charlie.
I guess that's why I wrote
You
the
did it.
coattails, because she was the front page,
Yes.
and it was the back page,
Yes.
and it was still attached.
Right, that was a coattail.
back to
That's
us,
what we call
so-
that's a coattail.
Back to us, Charlie. So that write up you did was pretty awesome.
It was, well, you gave me a lot of great stuff. I mean,
Thanks.
so when I go out to interview people, some people are natural storytellers. They can really get their point across. And some people, they funk for around. They don't know the right words. I don't want to mention any names. But, yeah, well, I don't want to say anything. Can I hit you with a chair sometime? That would be, that's my view. Like, he wants to, I want to hit somebody with a chair sometime.
You can hit me with a chair, just
Yeah.
not on the head.
All right.
Do I get the spine buster you?
If you can get me up the spine buster, you can spine buster. That's a deal. We'll do that. That's a deal.
Only one request. Will you wear the Sankara mask?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. I'll wear this.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
but I
good.
We
can't
will
have it
just
out.
show you how to properly do the spine buster, and I don't think that should be a
All
problem.
right, we'll do it. We'll do it. We'll have photographers and videographers do it. Yeah.
So the Cutlery versus the Motley 2. They're from where are they from?
Eastern PA.
Yeah. And then we have Yams and Russell and then
Cody Raines.
three big guys.
Yeah, this
They're
dude
probably
Yams
gonna
is
break that
huge.
reign. You realize that?
Yeah.
They should
Yeah,
probably
all
be the
three
main
of these
event.
guys, I don't know if there's like a 20-pound weight difference on them. I'm not gonna insult them, but they're all
Do you
three
remember
were around
on
like
SmackDown
300. They're
when
big guys.
when Brock Lesnar and Big Show broke that reign?
Please don't say that. I don't want
What
to see.
are we gonna
I don't
do,
want to see
Charlie?
that happen.
Yeah, that would. I mean, is that gonna be the last match? You should put that last in case
I
they break
told
the
you.
record.
No,
This
I think
match
that-
is
I
the
think-
main
I think
event.
that
Come
was
on.
the opener.
So what about your opponent? What do you know about your opponent coming up?
In all seriousness, we have to wait for McGowan, Commissioner McGowan, and he puts the card together, whatever.
Yeah.
And I think I should be the main event.
I think so too.
My opponent, Casey Carlisle, is one tough chick, but I got this.
Yeah, where's she? Have you ever faced her before?
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah. Oh, it didn't
Many
work
times.
out.
Well, it worked out
Was-
just fine. I mean, we always stole the show, but she has a tendency of taking championship belts off of me. But it's not going to happen this time.
Yeah.
She's like a belt, you know what? Like she has like I don't know. She's legit has like 15 belts
Jeez.
right now or something. She's like a belt hog.
Yeah.
She is.
That was a good belt hog. That's
You
right.
know-
Yeah, that's a more
The
appropriate.
thing, the worst part is she's much better heel than me.
Really?
Yeah.
So how's that gonna work? You gonna?
I mean, I'm over, so
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah, I
gonna
mean, you
go
can't-
out
you
and
can't
kick
help
it.
but be
But
What do you mean how it's gonna work? Like Feeney's gonna win, retain
No, but I
the
mean,
title?
two heels. I mean, are we just all gonna sit there quietly?
it makes it.
Oh no, there will not be no quiet. Once that bell rings,
Yeah.
you guys are like,
And you'll probably hear a lot of chops. But
Yeah.
I really don't have to work for the fans to cheer. So I mean, if
Yeah.
they're gonna cheer for me, I'm not gonna tell them to shut up because she's gonna be doing enough of that.
true
so.
story. They have wrestled like 6 or 7 times. I've seen every one of those matches. Haven't seen a Feeney match. She's missed a few of mine, but she's in back doing what
Looking in
knows.
the mirror. I'm sorry.
I mean, she's even missed them at the Code Red one. So, but
Wow.
anyways, I have not seen a Casey Carlisle versus Sarah Feeney match that did not steal the show.
Yeah.
And that's not just my opinion. That's guys in the back
Yeah.
talking about it too as well.
She's really good. She's really, really good.
So we're getting the wrap it up sign, but I have one more thing I want to talk about.
Wrap it up. Wait. F and F is here.
Ashley, F and F is here. But no, so your opinion, greatest wrestlers of all time. Let's talk just a little bit of wrestling talk, general wrestling talk. Flex, since you're over there, greatest wrestler of all time.
What?
Not in Pittsburgh,
What?
at the local level. Huh?
What?
He doesn't get
The
it.
greatest wrestler of all time, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
No. Well, see, you're young. Stone Cold was awesome, but you're a little younger, I think, than Mike and I. Mike and I saw, we saw some real wrestlers back in our day. I think.
Well, professional wrestler, Stone Cold Steve Austin. If we're gonna go to the amateur wrestling background category,
I don't think so.
There's a lot of names in that.
For professional wrestling, I think, my opinion, Roddy Piper.
I love
Greatest
Roddy
wrestler of all
Piper.
time, greatest
Greatest-
showman of all time.
Greatest promo guy of all
Yeah,
time.
he cut the best
Definitely in the
promos.
top 10 of all
Yeah.
time.
Jimmy Superfly Snuka, even though he's a murderer.
Yeah, before
don't
Jimmy
know
Snuka
that.
took him
Maybe,
before
maybe,
indictment.
maybe.
Pre-indictment Jimmy Snuka.
Mine would be Shawn Michaels. But current, I also love Natalia and Charlotte and everything, all the women that are kicking butt right now in professional wrestling and allowing me to continue living my dream and inspire girls. I also think that Sorry, just lost it. That happens a lot.
I'll make it quick too. The difference
Steamboat.
between now,
Steamboat's
definitely
really good.
from
Yeah.
from when you guys watched and for we watched and what's being watched now. Like the indie scene
Yeah.
is a major component of professional wrestling today, and you see that on TV.
Right, and that's because there isn't competition for the big guys anymore. I mean, so it's up to, I think, the independents to sort of keep developing talent.
So the traditional big guy mold is broken. You can be an everyday guy now, and
Yeah.
if you make your gimmick work, you're
Who
in.
is your favorite wrestler?
I have no answer. I'm sorry.
You never,
Seraphini.
you don't watch
Seraphini.
wrestling, do you?
Say John Cena.
John Cena.
John Cena.
Everyone knows John Cena.
I did see that movie. Yeah.
A movie?
Trainwreck. Yeah.
Oh yeah, with Trey. Yeah. See that's
He
how
does
we
know
think
John
about
Cena.
it.
Yeah.
See, look at that.
Wait a second. John Cena wasn't properly exposed in that movie because they.
Uh-oh.
Well, wait a second. I
You can
said
say
that
that
wrong.
here.
I said that wrong. What
Oh.
I meant was they made him seem like really like silly. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there was like one.
He looked much better in Mark Wahlberg's movie at the end.
Yeah, Daddy's Home. Did you know he was in that
I
movie?
didn't know he was
He
a
pulls
dad.
up on a
That election movie.
motorcycle, got tattoos on, walks right past
Yeah.
him. He's like,
Yeah, they just made him really silly in Trainwreck. I think I was surprised he did that role.
So everyone needs to come to the mall on May 14th,
May 14th.
for May Staken.
Yeah,
I'll say that
so-
again. Everyone needs to come to the mall on May 14th for May Staken.
That's right. You can hit us up. Facebook, Code Red Wrestling. Twitter, CRWPGH, underscore in the middle there. And we got Instagram, CRW Wrestling after the W. Anyway, just Google Code Red. You'll find us. YouTube, everything. I try to set it up and I try to connect with as many fans as I can. So.
all tickets for adults are $15. Kids under the age of 10 are $10, and we are kid friendly.
All right.
Guarantee whether you love us or you hate us.
You're gonna love to hate us.
Mark that.
We can
Can we just cut there?
Yeah.
That was amazing.
That's
Audio wise,
great,
bro.
yeah.
Thank you so much for being here. Fucking
Yes,
Phoenix.
thank you all
All
very
right.
much.
Mike
Thanks,
Wysocki,
guys.
Charlie Deach. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.